In 2015, I visited the Cage for an investigation. The Cage is one of the most actively haunted houses in England, and I was fortunate enough to meet up with another paranormal investigator, Michael Rawlings, who had investigated the house on previous occasions and who had experienced much activity in the house. The Cage is situated in St Osyth village in Essex. It's located next to an alley called Coffin Alley where bodies were carried to the cemetery during medieval times. The house has a dark and notorious past. In the 1500s, it was used as a prison to hold women accused of witchcraft. Skeletons of those who died or were killed in the prison have been found on site, and at least one suicide has recently taken place in the house. Around the time of my visit, the current owner had moved out, being unable to take any more of the negative energy in the house. She has experienced growls and scratching noises under the floorboards, apparitions, including that of a menacing shadow person. Taps and electrical equipment have turned on and off, and objects have flown off the table, and door latches and wardrobes have moved mysteriously by themselves. The owner has been physically attacked by something unseen. The house is rife with poltergeist activity, and the spirits of a jailer, some young children, a recent suicide victim, and Ursula Kemp, one of the best known witches known to be imprisoned there, are all believed to be active. It is thought that the malevolent goat-like demonic entity may also be present in the house. Some of the activity experienced by other investigators includes women being physically pinned to the toilet seat, unable to get up, seeing shadow figures, hearing and seeing apparitions of small children running around, and some people have been physically attacked in one of the bedrooms and have been left with physical marks such as scratches and bites. People have seen a lady and a child looking out of the window of this same room. On my visit to the house, it certainly lived up to its haunted reputation. The whole house felt unusually cold inside for the weather outside, but I was told that it was always cold in the house no matter what the weather outside. And after spending some initial time in the house, I approached the threshold to the living room. Something didn't want me to go any further. I was alone in the house at the time, and as I went to step up into the living room, I heard two loud thumps coming from upstairs. Then the whole house vibrated, to the extent that I felt like a small earthquake had happened and I had to hold onto the doorframe. Apprehensively, I crossed into the living room. As soon as I stepped inside, I felt like something rush up behind me, and I experienced a tense, cold feeling all the way up my spine. During the investigation of the downstairs area, a Gauss meter, which was placed on the kitchen table, would slowly start to tick, and then go off suddenly at full blast, with a kind of level of EMF that I've never experienced before or since. No, it's going crazy.
Is that someone doing that? Can you stop it, please?
Can you stop? Then the meter would just go off just as suddenly and dramatically as it had started. It felt as if there was a strong presence with there when this happened. And one time, when this did happen, I was able to pick up an EVP of a lady's voice sounding somewhat distressed.
Can you drop that, please? Can you stop doing it? Is that someone doing that?
Can you leave us in peace? Can you go? Can you go? Would you rather we went?
If you want us to go, can you give us a really big spike?
Or make a bang, make something move. You can chuck something across the room. Oh, it's just gone. I had an equally eerie experience while standing at the top of the staircase. I felt a strong presence of someone or something there, and as if someone was watching me the whole time, and the Gauss meter was just ticking and whirring at a low level, indicating the presence of EMF in the area. I started to worry that I might be in danger and that something might potentially push me down the stairs. That feeling was so strong that I decided to move quickly down the stairs to safety. I captured many EVPs in the house. While in the upstairs room, I picked up a possible voice in response to my question, "Is anyone there?" I captured a clear voice saying what sounds like, "Perhaps he's hiding, yes? Is there somebody here? Yes?" One of the EVPs I like the best is of a lady singing and what sounds like an old-fashioned tune, like someone might sing while do the household chores, and I hope that I may have captured the famous Ursula Kemp. Would you rather he went? The small bedroom upstairs is the room which used to be used by the jailer when the building was a prison. It's the room where I heard loud banging when I went into the living room on my arrival, and it's a room that some people have claimed to have seen and heard children. I got an unusual tapping on my voice recorder when asking questions to either the jailer, Phil, who was a man who had recently committed suicide in the house, or the children. And the tapping was if somebody was trying to respond, and this happened multiple times when asking questions. It's quiet, maybe they're so on. So you.
We've got plenty of devices you can come through to.
Yeah.
Is there someone on the K2 meter down? If there is, can you make 3 lights come on?
The larger room is one associated with numerous physical attacks, and while I was in the room I took a picture of what looked like a hazy cloud or like substance coming through the door. In this bedroom, one of the owner's friends, a 22-stone man, was thrown into the cupboards in one room. Other paranormal investigators have felt intense pain. One lady reported feeling as if she had a sword stuck through her. Other reports include blood coming from one investigator's eyes, and another has had blood from his ears. And some people have been left with physical marks like scratches and bites. And one person with no medical history of seizures had a seizure while in this room. While I was investigating in this room, I began to experience a burning pain in my shoulder. I didn't take much notice at the time, but after I went downstairs and on my drive home, my shoulder and part of my arm was still burning. When I arrived home, I checked my shoulder in the mirror and observed a red mark, which I was alarmed to see looked a bit like a bite shape. I'm 100% sure this mark wasn't on my shoulder before I went to the cage, and by the evening the mark had faded and the next day it was gone. I did find it a little disturbing that I may have been physically harmed as a result of being in the house. On arriving home, one thing I noticed was how completely exhausted I felt, and the time I'd spent in the house appeared to have totally drained my energy. And from my own brief experience of the cage and from the film evidence I've seen, the stories I've heard about what happens there, it's like no place I've been. It felt like a portal to another dimension. I also believe there was something negative and malevolent lurking in the house at the time. The cage was up for sale and sold in 2019. I wonder how the new owner's getting on.